Welcome back to Bucket Drop for another episode of Golden Sun. I accidentally talked to one of these guys, so they don't have anything to say right now. They just told me I should investigate the island we're at. So good job keeping the ship. We'll leave everything to us while you're away. Yeah. I ran around the boat for a good couple minutes. I sped up the emulator that I'm not using. I ran around the boat for a couple minutes to restore my PP. So now we're fully restored for here we are now, and today's shower song, because I've decided the first episode of each session that I do, I'm going to mention it. Today's shower song is Alien by Dream Theater. Yes, as of a few days ago, it didn't come out today, Dream Theater released a new song. They have a new album coming out sometime this year, supposedly. I think it's supposed to come out in October, around somewhere in early or late October. I don't know, sometime in October, I think. So they have a new album coming out, and I want to say I'm excited for it, but unfortunately, I can't. I'm not. They just haven't been great their last few albums. It's, before I go any further, I will explain where I am right now. I'm in Crossbone Island, which is a totally optional bonus area. There's no random encounters, so as I'm running around, I have no worries about running into anything. There's a lot of treasure here, and as I go to each room of this area, there will be a boss. And in between the bosses, that's the wrong synergy. There's no random encounters, so I don't have to worry about that. But between each level is a boss. Some of them are pretty tough. 1 coin. That's what we came for. No, I need to go. Yeah, that's where I ultimately need to wind up. So yeah, this is Crossbone Island. Dream Theater. I'm not super excited about Dream Theater's upcoming album. They're essentially the band that got me into metal. I would probably call myself a metalhead. Let's see, who am I going to give this mint to? Agility. Ultimately, Ivan want to go first most of the time. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Elven shirt on him permanently, because it's pretty low defense. It might still be worth it, but I'll give it to him anyway. Right now, I have it on Mia. Honestly, I should... You know what? I'm going to change that. Yeah. No, I'm not. I think Ivan is still fast enough. Yeah, we'll leave that as is. Dream Theater is essentially the band that got me into metal. When I was in high school, let's go even further back. When I was in middle school, I essentially only listened to rap. I didn't listen to music until I was 13 years old. At all. Any music. I just played it. Like, when people asked, because I played trumpet in the school band, and when people asked, oh, what kind of music do you like? This person would say, oh, I like this. This other person would say, oh, I like that. When they came to me, I would say, I don't listen to music, I just play it. And it was true. I didn't listen to music until I was in... Okay, 13 is wrong. I didn't listen to music until I was in middle school. And the music that I started listening to... Okay, so the way this area works is whenever you go to enter a door, there will be an encounter. Those are the only encounters in this entire area other than the final boss at the end. But here's our first of them. They're kind of tough. They're not super tough, but they're not nothing. They're a little tough. So I'm gonna just come at them with everything, and then I can run around to heal in between. When I started listening to music, I basically turned on the TV, flipped to MTV, and what was playing? Rap. That's all that MTV plays. So the first album I ever bought was Red Light District by Ludacris. Which I'll still say, solid album. It's a good album. All right, Ivan's not doing anything. Solid album. And for a little while, I had just a few rap albums on my iPod, the big old school fat iPod, the one that probably weighed half a pound. All right, that one wasn't so bad. They're going to get quite a bit harder. We can't go through this entire bonus area, but we can get at least a couple of these chests. Yes, and we're gonna enter and exit this one. Whoops, we're gonna enter and exit this one a few times. So I started listening to rap, and then a family friend of mine heard that I only listen to rap, and he went, well, I can't have that. And he just burnt me a CD. Remember when people used to have CDs and burn CDs? He burnt me a CD of about 300 just random songs that he thought I would like. He was a big Green Day fan. There was a lot of Green Day on there, stuff like that. And that transitioned me into rock. The band that I really got into, it's cliched to say, but was Linkin Park. Every middle schooler liked Linkin Park. For me, it was because they were rap rock, so they were an easy transition from just rap to rap rock, then to just rock. And after that, I kind of started to almost pretend that I didn't like rap, which for a while I didn't. I didn't listen to any of it. I listened to the same stuff everyone's dad listened to. I just listened to the classic rock radio station. I listened to, like, Led Zeppelin was one of my favorite bands. Everything that would be on the classic rock station. That's what I was listening to. And I listened to almost nothing else for quite a while. All right, let's see where this is going. 3, 5, 21, Garrett actually has our lowest defense right now. Oh, that's because he's in the weakest class. I'm going to give it to Ivan. Oh, he's not in the weakest class. It's just his current class has very high offense and low defense. Eventually, he will be our tankiest character. He's going to be a Dragoon, which is a very defensive and healing-minded class. I was a classic rock head, and by the time I got to college, I had expanded a little bit, but not much. And my roommate, I know I've mentioned this before, Dream Theater was his favorite band, and they were his alarm when he woke up. So at first, I was like, I never want to hear this band again. I'm so sick of this band, because I would hear it every morning when he woke up. And eventually... Okay, what we need to do is go... No, come on. We're going to have to loop around here. Eventually, Dream Theater is the band that got me to start liking metal. The band that actually got me into metal as just foot in the door was, it wasn't one particular band. It was thrash metal in general. Randomly one day, I decided, hey, I want to try getting to metal. I'm going to listen to all of the big four of thrash metal. And if you don't know thrash metal or metal in general, thrash metal is just very fast, pretty aggressive. That's a mimic. Pretty aggressive metal that came out that was, I almost said invented. Well, I guess it was. It started in the 80s. And the big four are the four most popular bands of the genre. That's Metallica, which everybody knows, Megadeth, which most people know, Slayer, which a lot of people know, and Anthrax, which less people know. And those were the four most successful bands of thrash metal. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, I decided I'm going to listen to every album that they released in the order that they were released. So starting with, I didn't listen to like every Metallica album, and then I listened to every Megadeth album. It was just 1980 whatever, whenever the first one came out. I started there, and whenever a new album was next, I would listen to that one. Push this down so we can get out of here quickly. All right. And I even made a blog about it where I would listen to an album and then review it. Remember when people used to make blogs? Not a Tumblr, not a post on Facebook or anything. An actual blog. I'm just going to have Garrett attack because his MP is low. So I started going through. I will admit up front, I did not make it all the way through this. Kind of halfway through, I got a little bored and decided to start listening to other stuff. But I started, it went kind of as I expected. Metallica, good. They've got some great albums. Master of Puppets, classic. Other albums they did, great. They start to get a little bad, but they're great band. Megadeth, I liked them even more. Slayer, they were a little too harsh for me at the time. Now I can stand them a little more. At the time, I was not ready for Slayer. Slayer is a much more harsh band. Oh god, Ivan's dead. Nobody has revived. Alright, we're wasting a water of life on him. Cool. At least it fully restores him. Alright, I should have focused on one enemy at a time here. That was kind of dumb. Oh boy. This has not been my greatest move. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and defend with Garrett. Or, no, you know what? I'll use a nut on myself. Ivan will wish. Still can't do any healing. Something needs to... One of these bears needs to die. Nope. Attack drop by 50. That's... Alright, Ivan is now on full-time healing duty. And I'm just going to start focusing on one enemy at a time. What was I saying? Yeah. So I didn't get... I wasn't ready for Slayer yet. Now I'm fine with Slayer. They're still... I still don't love Slayer, but I'm okay with them. And Anthrax, I just straight up didn't like. No offense if you like Anthrax, I just found their music... to put it bluntly, I found it really dumb. I found their music very dumb. Every song had those kind of like... vocals in the background vocals, and I couldn't get into it. I didn't like them. But I gave it a chance. I made it several years into thrash metal. I did give up eventually because I was like, I want to listen to something else. But I listened to some of it. I've since listened to every Metallica album and most Megadeth albums. Megadeth has some crappy albums in the middle that weren't very good, and I haven't listened to them. But the good Megadeth albums are some of the best metal albums ever released. But they were my foot in the door on metal. The band that actually got me into metal was Dream Theater. A, because they sounded kind of familiar. I kind of knew them because my roommate listened to them. I'm going to go ahead and heal. And hopefully my synergy restores quite a bit along the way as I pick up some more junk. Dream Theater is a progressive metal band, and they have a wide range of influences. They have metal influences, and they also have not metal influences. Like, one of their biggest influences is the Beatles. And I've always been a massive Beatles fan. I did that wrong. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I'm fine. I've always been a massive Beatles fan. Oh, no, I did do that wrong. Yep, I did do that wrong. I gotta leave and come back. I've always been a massive Beatles fan. I have every Beatles album. Like, remember when people used to buy CDs? Yeah, I have every Beatles CD. Did I do that? Maybe I didn't do that wrong. Oh, no, never mind, I'm fine. Push that up. And push this one up. Yeah. I own every Beatles CD. I have their greatest hits albums. I have all the Beatles stuff. They're one of my favorite bands. Was one of my favorite bands when I became a classic rock head, and still to this day are one of my favorite bands. Mystery Blade, that's a good one. So, they're a metal band, but the Beatles, they recognize a good... that's going to benefit you more. And you get that'll be lower. Okay. So, big Beatles fan. Dream Theater was a fan of them. They were a fan of other... And then they were a fan of prog bands that I already liked, such as Rush and Dream Theater. Rush and Pink Floyd, which Pink Floyd's one of my favorite bands now, was one of my favorite bands. They were a big influence on them. So they were an easier transition into liking metal. And unfortunately, they've started kind of shoveling the same shit. Their last, for about 10 years now. Their original drummer left around 2010-ish, I want to say. Their first album without him was 2011, so obviously he was gone by then. I want to say he was out of the band 2009 or 10 after the album that came before that. And since then, every album has been kind of samey, unfortunately. And I'm just not excited for it. I was originally very excited for the Dream Theater albums that were coming out. I saw them live 2 or 3 years ago. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I cried during The Spirit Carries On. If you're a Dream Theater fan, you did too. And they're still one of my favorite bands, but they just haven't been great lately. But the interesting thing about Dream Theater, this is stemming into a much longer conversation that's I know it's already been going on for almost 15 minutes. Dream Theater's first album is called When Dream and Day Unite. It came out in the 80s, the late 80s, like 88 or 89. Editing me will put the actual date in the corner right now. There it is. So it came out in 1980, and it was when I first listened to it, it wasn't great. The production's a little iffy. They have a different singer. They changed singers after this album. Their most well-known album is the album that came right after it, called Images and Words, and that came out in 92 or 93. I want to say 92. And that has their biggest hit on it. It has their only hit on it, Pull Me Under. If you know if you actually know who Dream Theater is, you know Pull Me Under, because that's their only hit. And that album came out. But the album that came out before it, When Dream and Day Unite, it essentially the band refuses to acknowledge it. This one was always a little confusing. The band refuses to acknowledge it. If you look up Dream Theater on any streaming platform, you will not find When Dream and Day Unite. I can confirm personally that it's not on Spotify, and my friends have confirmed that it's not on Apple Music or YouTube Music. I don't know about the other ones. Those are the three that we have access to. It's not on any of those. It's just weird whenever a band has an album that they refuse to acknowledge. Dream Theater has one. Nope, this is not the right way. I guess it's just after the first album, they got a new singer. They came with him. That's the Dream Theater everyone came to know. So maybe they were like, hey, let's just kind of scrub this one from the record. And I listened to it again. It's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. It's just the production's a little rough. It's a little 80s, which if you know me, you know that I'm not a fan of 80s music as a whole. There's some good 80s music overall. I'm not a big fan, but I'm not going to get too into that. Okay, I need to come down from the top. Not a big fan of 80s music, but anyway, that album's better than I thought, but Dream Theater themselves refused to acknowledge it. And that kind of brought up a larger conversation. Pantera. You know, Pantera. Are you talking to me? The most dopey, aggressive metal band out there. I'm sorry if I sound mean. I'm not a Pantera fan. Ooh, fairy ring. I think that cures poison? Oh, it acts like an elixir. So it, what do elixirs here? Delusion, stun, and sleep. Might as well give that to, I don't know. He's already got the healing ring equipped. You've already got the unicorn ring equipped. I'll give it to you anyway, because everything you can do, Mia can already do. Mia already has access to, essentially, a synergy version of an elixir, so there's no reason to use that. Yep, Garrett's going to get that. Whoops. I almost wasted it. Oh, smoke bomb. Let's reveal and yep, catch one more time. Cool. I believe we can go one more room. We'll only be able to go a little bit into it before we hit a point where we can't progress. And honestly, the boss that we're about to, the fight we're about to do is a little tough, so I could wait until we come back later and we can go further, but I'm going to do it here. Let's see, is this the room I'm thinking of? It should be 2 griffins? Or a griffin and a... Yep, 2 griffins. So I think this is the last room we can go to. And I'm just going to focus on 1 griffin at a time because these things are pretty tough. Anyway, yeah, Dream Theater refuses to acknowledge their first album. It's not on any streaming platform. They've... At the 15-year anniversary of it, because Dream Theater has been a band for over 30 years... At the 15-year anniversary of it, they played the album in its entirety, and they used to, they don't anymore, they used to play songs from it live a little bit, but on streaming platforms, it's not available. And that brought us into Pantera, the biggest, dopiest band. I'm not a big fan of them. They have some... Dimebag Darrell, incredibly talented guitar player. God, please stop attacking just Ivan. Incredibly talented guitar player. They have some songs I like, they really do, but overall, I've never gotten into Pantera. which is, it's just personal opinion. They're just really not for me. And Pantera has 9 albums. If you look on Spotify, any streaming platform, you will see 5 albums. Pantera has 4 albums that they refuse to acknowledge. That's ridiculous. That did 172 damage. Good lord. I feel like this thing's got to be almost dead, and I don't want to run out of PP on Garrett. They have almost half of their discography not on anything. They have a full discography that they don't acknowledge before their actual discography. I knew this thing was almost dead. So the reason they do this, they had a different singer at first for their first 3 albums. The 4th album, which they don't acknowledge, has their current singer, Phil Anselmo, whatever his name is. Phil, whatever his name is. I don't want to disrespect him. He's good in the metal community. I'm not a big fan of his singing, but he is a good singer. It fits the band and everything. I like his solo band, Down. They're a good band. Nope, I just got to keep wishing. They had a different singer for the first 3 albums, then they had him. But the first 4 albums, before they were the Pantera everyone knows, they were a glam metal band. Like, glam metal is very different from... Glam rock is like T-Rex, David Bowie, that kind of stuff. Glam metal is like Def Leppard. And I don't think I brought this up before, but Def Leppard might be my least favorite band of all time. I hate Def Leppard. Their music is so cheesy. It's so stupid. I hate it so much. If you like Def Leppard, that's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion. I'm not a fan. Nice. I only stole 1 PP from that. All right, let's see. Is this where I think it was? Yes, this is as far as we're going to be able to get. These things will push me if I get close to them. So I need a synergy that makes me invisible, which I do not have yet. Yep, I can't cross any of these. Can't go over here. Nope. I think I could get 1 item. If I go over... nope. Can't get anything, so I just fought the boss for the hell of it. Whatever. All right, let's get out of here. Pantera's first 4 albums were glam metal, like Def Leppard, which I'm not a fan of, but whatever. That's not the discussion I'm trying to have because I feel like I've been very negative. Their first 4 albums were glam metal, with such hits such as Ride My Rocket and other dumb sex-named songs. And they refused to acknowledge any of it. It's so weird for a band to have half of their existence. I think Pantera formed in 1981, and Cowboys from Hell, their first album that they acknowledged, came out in 1990. So that's 9 years that they just don't acknowledge happened. That's ridiculous. That's half of their latest album before they broke up, or before, I know Dimebag Darrell was killed, R.I.P. How was it, Isaac? Did you explore the island? Yes, let's get out of here. Did you see any monsters? Couple. We can't let the tourists go ashore after all. Passengers are going stir-crazy. They're out of control. Gonna have to let the passengers go ashore. No. We're gonna get out of here. There's no need for that. I'm not doing any of the voices right now. I'm too engrossed in the story I've been telling. We're figuring out how to get to Toby. Really? We can go? Let's get to Toby before the sea gets any rougher. Tell our tourists they can Let's tell our tourists they can enjoy a nice long break after we arrive. It's too late. Nothing we could say will calm them down. If we hurry, we can make it to Colosso in time. I see. If we can get them to Colosso, they'll all be happy. All right then. I'll go tell the tourists. All right, we're just gonna get out of here. So Pantera does not acknowledge their first 4 albums. It's so weird. They had a full discography, 9 years, and then they kind of went, "Hey, this is kind of gay, right? This is a little gay. Let's stop it." But which I'm not. There's nothing wrong with anything there. There's some good glam is fine. It's just they essentially went, "We don't want to be this anymore. We want to be tough guys," and then they just refused to acknowledge half of their discography. It's crazy. That's like if Led Zeppelin decided not to acknowledge anything after nothing from Led Zeppelin 4 back. That's ridiculous. That's the best part of their discography. It's half their discography. It's crazy. And that brought up another conversation. It keeps going. If you can't tell, I am very slightly drunk right now because we've been doing a lot of golfing and a lot of pars went my way, so I had to knock out a few of them. So that's why I'm very into this conversation, taking it very seriously. Hello, Chef. We made it, finally. Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. It's one of my dad's favorite bands. He said, I don't think CCR has ever released a bad song. And he's almost right. CCR has... I'm not positive on this. I'm going to say anywhere from 7 to 10 albums. I'm going to go ahead and ballpark it at 8. Let's say CCR has 8 albums. And on 7 of those albums, they don't have a single bad song. Everything's great. John Fogerty, the mastermind behind the band, he wrote all the lyrics, he wrote all the music. All right, let's see if we can find any... Oops, wrong button. I think, yep, I knew there was a goodie over here. 35 coins. Okay, that was... Sure. Is there anything... I don't think there's anything else I can get here. No. Treasure? Yeah, there is a treasure chest over here. Okay. So there is something else. CCR has X amount of really good albums. And then... some inner turmoil kind of happened with the band. John Fogerty writes all of the lyrics. John Fogerty writes all of the music. So naturally, he's credited with all the songs, and he has the most pull in the band. The rest of the band eventually started to not like that. So they started to complain, hey, we want more say in this band. It got so intense that John Fogerty's brother, who was in the band, left the band. Oh, Tolby, this is big. Before we do this, let me double check real quick. I need to check to see if, I think one of the gin we can get. One of the gin we can get is close. Give me 1 second to look it up. Okay, we do actually skip the gin that I thought we had to skip, but there is another one we can get, so I'm gonna go get that one. There's one more on the world map over here. It's like over here. Yeah, okay. So the other band members in CCR started to complain, hey, we want some say in this band, and John Fogerty essentially went, fine, you do it. So at this point, they're just a trio. It's just John on guitar, and then a bassist and a drummer. His brother, who was the rhythm guitarist, I believe, left. And he said, you know what? You want to be a part of a big old band? You go ahead, you do it. So he forced them to write their own songs, and he refused to sing on any of them. If he didn't write it, he wasn't going to sing on it. I think their last album, Mardi Gras, has, I don't know, I'm just going to guess 9. I'm just going to go ahead and say it has 9 songs on it. 3 of them written by each of the band members. Fogerty only sang on the ones he wrote. He did not sing on any of the ones they wrote. And the album sucked. It was bad. Fogerty was basically like, so, we're not going to do that again, are we? And then the band broke up. He intentionally made the album bad so that the band would break up and they would have to shut up about it. That's ridiculous. It's not that they don't acknowledge it, but... Alright, this one is going to... I believe this is going to Garrett. Hale? Yeah, Hale. Alright, so now all of our Mercury Gym are going to Garrett. Well, not all of them, right? I think one of them is going to... 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. The all of our Mercury Gin from this point on are going to Garrett, and he will eventually become a Dragoon. But that's a little ways away. But it just blows my mind that John Fogerty essentially sabotaged his own band out of spite to prove a point. And from then on, he had a very successful solo career. He had that song Center Field, you know, if you've ever went to a baseball game, you've heard that song with the clapping. You may not know that it's a real song. You may not know that it's a Fogerty song, but it's a real song and it's a Fogerty song. Huge baseball fan, that John Fogerty. Great concert, too, even when he's old as fuck. He came to the beach when me and my brother worked there years and years ago, and he put on one of the best shows of the year for sure. Yeah, he was a great live act. He seems a little crazy, but maybe you need to be an artist. And that's all I have to say about this. So next time on Bucket Drop, I'll see you then. Peace out.